Hello everyone. September the 20th, 2021. Today is a super powerful day. It's the 20th day of this Mayan calendar, the first full column we're down. We're on 7 AHAU, which is a Galactic Activation Portal. Today, September the 20th. It is interesting that this is the 7th day in the second 13-day period. Those of you, I don't show it right now, but those of you who know what I'm talking about, it's the grid of the Mayan calendar. Maybe I should quickly bring it up as I speak of it, as I have it on my screen. Just gonna search for it here quickly. It is... Here it is. It's coming, just one sec. My computer is thinking. So anyway, today is a super powerful day. Let me just continue while it loads. Jupiter heliocentric entered Pisces. Here it is. That's okay. Here, this is where we're at today. 7 AHAU. That is the yellow resonant solar lord. The 20th day is always a special day. It's a day of celebration. It's a very high frequency. You probably feel it. We have been building up into this. And tomorrow, with the 21st of September, we are starting the second column down here. This will be the Galactic Dragon, the red Galactic Dragon, the number 8 as being the power number of infinity. And it so happens that the numerological sequence right now is exactly in sync. If you add it up, today is a 7th day in the Mayan, the 20th day of the 9th month, that gives you an 11. And then you add the year number, which is 2021, which is a 5. So you have a 16, and which this reduces to a 7. Tomorrow, the 21st, will be reducing to an 8. So we have this amazing synchronicity. This has been going on pretty much since the beginning of the month. September the 1st was 1 Imish, was the red magnetic dragon initiating a new wave of creation, you could say. A new level, and as I did say repeatedly, we jumped to a higher level of frequency. The war is now no more so much on the physical plane. It is really an energetic. Those of you who are tuned into these frequencies can definitely feel that. I do. Many people always keep saying, no, not many, but a few, that whatever I have been saying never happened. That's a very limited view. I'm speaking of energies here, and certainly we sometimes express certain manifestations of these energies, and they sometimes don't occur, or often don't occur exactly as we are seeing them. But in retrospect, if we truly understand the energies, we will see it has happened, it has taken place. It's just way more subtle than we would think at first. But in the aftermath, it will all show itself. It will come to a full recognition at one point. Today is definitely one of these days where this recognition could happen. Very powerful. 7 is the frequency which links us to the greater universe. If you divide the 1 by the different first digits up to 9, these are the prime digits. If you divide the 1 by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, by 7, by 8, by 9, 7 is the only fraction, 1/7, which generates what's called an irrational number. That is a number with unpredictable sequence of digits into infinity if you do the math. That is very special. it is the door to infinity, to the greater cosmos. That's what the 7 is. It's a powerful frequency of a higher form. The 7 is as close as we get. So today, the 7th day in that second 7-day cycle of AHAU, AHAU being the wizard, so this is the wizard cycle. These 13 days are about going deep within and doing some ceremonial work and understanding that we stand with one foot in this world and with another foot in the other world, and the balancing principle is here, which we have to come to terms with and understand that how these two worlds are affecting each other, how the energy flows from one into the other. So it's a lot of deep experiences. So this is today's chart heliocentrically. That's when Jupiter entered Pisces. Here it is. That is a 1 in 12 years event, as heliocentrically the Sun is in the center, you could think of here. And here is Earth, and here is Jupiter, here is Saturn. So that's the planetary positions. They're slightly different from where they are as seen from Earth. Just here I have both the charts open, so I'll show you this is the same picture as seen from Earth. Now the Earth is in the center, the Sun is over here in the late degrees of Virgo, the moon close before full. That happened just a few hours actually. It happened very early this morning in Greenwich, and that was yesterday evening here in North America, as Greenwich time is 7 hours ahead of where I live. So that would have been something like 8 p.m. Mountain time, or 10 p.m. on the 19th, still in the eastern part of North America. So this is, let's go back to the heliocentric chart for a moment, because that's really the energetic underlying frame, and this will be a 1+ year phase, around 13 months. That's how long it takes Jupiter to travel through one sign. So this is a very powerful initiation chart. Jupiter in Pisces at first is very well placed. It is a lot of happiness. It gives us that sense of without boundaries, just expanding into the outer space of ourselves, of our aura, and it is an energy of trust basically, and of allowing, of enjoyment. Jupiter is the nighttime ruler of okay, let me say it different. Jupiter rules Pisces, but as a secondary sign, it's the nighttime ruler in Pisces and the daytime ruler in Sagittarius. So it is these two changing signs. All the four final signs of the season, Pisces, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Gemini, are times of transition. Something is shifting and integrating, and that new moon, which we then just had less than a day later, let me see if it's actually what it is right now. Yeah, we're still close before full moon, which is a very powerful moment of building up momentum. So we are seeing this powerful momentum of a full moon. Now, you see, astrology never is captured, at least the mundane, with one single chart. It's how these single charts interlink and interlock, as you have seen from my previous presentations. That's what makes something powerful. Now, watch the 27th degree here. So this is a chart for Greenwich at the 0 meridian. That is what was overhead in that moment when Jupiter entered Pisces, and this is naturally naturally, I guess that's just, I'm assuming this, but this is parallel transference from the sun's frame of orientation to the Earth's. It's kind of, it is that kind of sense of resonance. I guess that's the best way to say it. It's geometric resonance. So what as seen from the sun was, I should say it differently, as seen from the Earth in that moment. So let's go back really to the geocentric chart here first to explain this. This was the moment, and you see Jupiter here as seen from Earth is still quite a bit in Aquarius, because you see our angle is from here, so you kind of can think of just move yourself here far away in this direction, then look towards the sun, and then you will see Jupiter a little bit off-centered from where it would be from the sun. I guess you get the picture. It appears in a different location as it would as seen from the sun. So that moment when that happened as seen from the sun, that is how it looked on planet Earth. Now let's just go into the meaning of this chart. So I mentioned the 27th degree. You see that this perfect trine, and on here on the other side it is Saturn and Pluto. So it is still within that transformation, that deep grinding motion Saturn and Pluto are engaged in, of shifting deep energies, changing power structures. It is that spiritual war which came to a full revelation in January 2020 when the two had their conjunction, and from there on it has been building. This is just the background story, that whole virus thing, and virus is a very interesting word, as it's not just the physical manifestation, it's also the mental manifestation of virus, which we get infected every hour by these so-called newscasts and whatnot. So there's many viruses around, really. That's the way to see it, and the only way out of that is back to nature. And that is the key which will pull us through these next 4 months. I was talking about that in my last video. It's the integration channels which link us so strongly into nature. We start really reconnecting on an energetic level, and that's where our power is coming from, really. That's where we feel all connected, where we link into a greater network. So all this is happening on that background you have to see. So we have now the 27th degree, and whenever the 27th degree comes in, we have to think of the galactic center, which is really the, some people call it the oversun. It is the galactic hub where this whole solar system we are in and all the stars in our local neighborhood are slowly moving around once in 250 million years. It's a great cycle, and the galactic center in that sense is the center of our universe. That's how you have to see it. That's where the most powerful flow of energy comes in. It was discovered in the 1960s because of interference of radio signals. Every time that spot was within alignment with the radio, there would be strong interference. That's how it was discovered. So there's a stream of a steady stream of energy. It's almost like you could call it. It's the naval the umbilical cord which connects us to the greater cosmos. That's where it is attached. So whenever that point is activated, then we are receiving a surplus of galactic energies, and that is true for right this particular frame, these few days. Definitely what's the word? Culminating, thank you, on with the full moon, the full moon, which is just a few hours down the road. I find it very interesting that this full moon is in the very, very last segment of hexagrams 6 and 36. Which is the axis here, the last fully in those two changing signs hexagram. The next one starts at 2815, which then links into the cardinal energy of the next sign of Libra. So that which is hexagram 46 then, which is the rising of the plant breaking through the soil into the light. It is a strong energy of growth, of rising up. That's where we are just tapping into. Actually, you see in Greenwich again, the meridian is already in the new energy, but the moon and the sun are still in the old energy. Let me show you again quickly here. Yes, I have it here on my screen. This is the okay, we don't need you. Thank you. So if we look at Virgo and Pisces, and here I'm enlarging it a bit for you. That's where the moon is at 2813 in Pisces, and on the other side 2813, that is just here at the very edge. 2815 again is the changing moment, and this is a very powerful moment. It's still in the final phase of the sign, but it's already sensing the new energy. So if you do a chart, I usually do charts for both moments, the ingress into the sign and also the ingress into the hexagram. The one into the hexagram is kind of a precursor, preparing the ground energy. It always happens roughly 2 days before the equinoxes and the solstices. So anyway, we're still in the old energy. In that sense, hexagram 6 is conflict. Hexagram 36 is the what's the exact word? Darkening of the light, right? It's the light is deeply buried in under layers of darkness and deception and closed off, kind of. It's really the last critical stage of a process. So we're very close to the breakthrough. That's what this says, and that's another thing I really want to throw in because it's essential. Astrology is a fractal, and every chart we look at basically says the same thing, looks from a different angle. But they're all fractals within fractals within fractals, which everything is. One single atom is a fractal of the whole universe. If you collapse time and space, that's where we are ending up. It's that sacred geometry within hyperspace. Astrology is a wonderful expression of that, and it all happens in a very organic way. So anyway, the full moon here at the very last segment of this hexagram 36, darkening of the light, it says it all. We are still in it, and it will certainly be the next 2 weeks for sure. which are still very dark, difficult. And then as the October comes, around October 6, and I will tell you in another video why, that's when collectively we start bonding. I mean, I should say it as I'm here on it. It is the same energy we will have as we just had between the 11th and the 17th of September. That was when all these powerful channels were even more getting to life, those integration channels. I don't know if, I guess I don't have it here on the screen anymore. Well, I could quickly pull it back. Let me just do it. It only takes a few seconds. Change the date. That would be the 12th of August of September 2021. Okay. Yeah, here we go. That's what I want to show you. See, this is the thing. So this is the one which I just mentioned before, the one which is on for 4.5 months. We are now 2 weeks into this and you already can feel it. It is that power which comes from our sacral center, the center of life energy, the hara, as the Japanese call it. You might have heard the word harakiri, which is a ceremonial way of taking your life. If you're done with this life, it is exactly targeted at the hara, 2 inches under the navel. That's where naturally our navel is, in that area. That is the most direct connection to creation. That's where we are evolving from the mother's womb. So it is that powerful energy of life and survival which links up directly into the throat, the center of manifestation. As you see, if you study this diagram closely here, this is the only direct connection we have between these two centers. Any other connection goes through a range of channels. There's different options, but this is the one and only which directly connects, and this is the centerpiece of what's called the integration channels, which are the oldest ones in the electromagnetic wiring of physical life, of spirit living in physical form, which means it's the plant and animal kingdom we are connected with and to. Now, this leg here, this is what was on, as I said, between September 11 and September 17, which brings in the clarity of intuition. That's a big one. So that's what we had additionally, which brings in power and the right way to deal with all that energy, because this energy in itself here, if it's only the connection between the sacral and the throat, this is a direct connection. There's no thinking process involved there. It's an immediate a reaction in a way. That's why it's called charisma. Charisma is that shining power of direct manifestation, of just pulling it out of your sleeve, literally. So with the 57, with the clarity, which is when Mercury first moved through this segment. Let me show you here on this picture first. 57 is here in Libra between 1507-30 and 2045 Libra. That was when Mercury first direct moved through this stage, and Mercury is still moving direct and will turn retrograde just in a few days on the 27th, and then come back through this hexagram again between October 6 and 16, and there will be a whole bunch of planets, the Sun included in this hexagram. This will be the core of the taking back the power phase, which we are in the middle of. That's really what's happening, as I said before. This is the global awakening, big revolution. We are taking the power back. The people are getting their sovereignty and freedom, but it's us who have to do it, and this is the window between September 4th and January 18. That's the core phase. After that comes the cleanup, in a way, the taking care of loose ends. But this is the center. And there's another one I want to throw in here at this point. 2021 is the year of change. It wasn't 2012. That was a slight inversion of numbers, which caused a switch in our focus, and it might have been a really good thing that we were focusing 8 years earlier, starting to get ready for that moment, building up the momentum, those who understand at least, and slowly building to that final phase, and that's where we're in right now. This is a big year. By winter solstice, things already will look drastically different, and for sure by the end of January there will be a radical change in the consciousness of planet Earth and of all of us who are in this frequency still. Many will leave, as we know, because they are not compatible with the new energy. That's the most simple way to say it. So whoever leaves this planet at this point in the next few months, that's the main reason. Whoever is compatible will find a way to stay here regardless of what they have been taking or not, or where they live or not, because there will also be quite some, and I throw this in already right now because I have done some research. In December we will likely see major earth changes coming, so that's just something to keep in mind. One of the reasons which will make traveling really difficult over the next few years. So likely where you are, you will stay for a while. That was first shared by Oracle Girl. I get the strong feeling that she's pretty dead on with that, which doesn't mean it's impossible to travel at some point, but at least making big shifts in location, moving your whole life from one continent to another. That's probably, you're probably in the last few days here, I would even say, of really being able to travel. I think by mid-October it will get almost impossible. There will be much more chaos coming because people are rising, and this is one of the reasons, or maybe the main reason, that this is coming into action. Mercury here in 57. Again, that was September 11 to 17th. And many people in the last few days I heard saying this was a powerful phase. The 17th particularly was mentioned as a day of high meaning. You can look that up. Somebody said it was the day Earth peace was, the peace agreement was reached, whatever that means. So there's lots and lots going on in the background too. So, yes, this is a great, great day with Jupiter entering Pisces today. And this chart again, I mentioned the 27th degree. The 27th degree the Sun is at. This 27th degree here, where Mercury and Pluto are at heliocentrically. So, yeah, this is a powerful chart. So we have this exact symmetry of that trine, and then the Earth here at the center. You see that? That's a planetary picture, we call that, a perfect symmetry. So this is a trine here with the center of our focus. That's the 10th house cusp. That's the direction naturally the tree wants to grow. The counterforce to gravity, which pulls us down, which holds us in place. So this is also called the axis of consciousness in that sense. And when we come to an inner silence, that's the most powerful energy we experience, this pillar of light, where the sun stands at highest over the earth at a particular moment. Right here it was actually not the sun, it was Sedna. And you remember I talked about Sedna quite a bit in the last while, particularly in the most important chart, and you can go and find it in my video collection. That was the moment when Earth was at its perihelion, aphelion, I always mix those two up, at its aphelion. Yes, that's what it was. That means it was farthest away from the sun. That was July the 5th. And Sedna has been a major player in the last 2 years, I would say. Sedna, for those who are not familiar with Sedna, is a substantial sized minor planet with an orbit of over 11,000 years. Just compare that to Pluto, who has 250 years or so. So Sedna, 11,000 years plus, coming from deep space, bringing in deep secrets and deep truths from our past, and also from the unknown alien worlds. Sedna rules the under the ocean world, which is even less has been less researched and is less known than outer space, really. So there's lots of mysteries hiding underground too. All these coming into light. Sedna also is seclusion and reclusion and being cut off from resources and not. So Sedna also in that sense has played a major role over the last 2 years, I would say, if that infringement, being isolated from one another. And yeah, there's countless difficult stories naturally, but it is overall it brings you to a much deeper level of who you are, going through these dark and difficult experiences at times. And if you're not needing those deep and dark experiences, then you likely will experience those energies in a different way. You're reconnecting with nature, you're reconnecting with that deep and dark space of mystery and alien worlds. So yes, this is a major structure here in this chart, that Earth here at the center, Earth here the cusp of the 8th house, interesting itself, Scorpionic, and with the Scorpio here at the 4th house cusp. So this will be an adventure into the dark. That's where we are going. It's really, as some people have said it's a dark night of the soul collectively. It is that darkest phase before the dawn comes, and it can get quite a bit darker than where we're at. It's still not too bad anywhere and everywhere, I would say. So even it will be an experience of difficulties and darkness. We will be in the right place at the right time. That's basically what it is, and we will be guided, and it will have an enormously positive outcome, that whole thing. yes, it's in stages, and that's quite a bit down the road when it gets really, really wonderful. So there's still, even though we might have cut through the darkest and most difficult phase by the end of January, mid-February around, as I say, there will be lots and lots of cleanup and still groundwork helping people to come to terms with reality, the new reality, the real reality, or at least a bit closer to the real reality, whatever that means. AW197 is exactly at the ascendant here, and this is true also for the geocentric chart. Let's now switch to geocentric, which is really the way we are perceiving that kind of spirit energy the sun is emanating. That's the heliocentric chart, in as I understand it, is the charge of the photons which are feeding us, which are coming in at light speed, and every instant, every moment charged, coded with new information, new energy, and that is what is really feeding life. This is more than how these energies take form, what we see in geocentric perspective. Most interesting here I find are the nodes here, exactly squaring the ascendant. The ascendant is the level of expression of the most tangible sort. When the lunar nodes or whatever is squaring, that means this is really what it's all about, where the focus lies, and the nodes are about dynamics. The nodes, I always see the nodes as a rocket shooting through your chart. So the rocket comes from Sagittarius, early Sagittarius. Again, this is hexagram 34. If you go back to the overlay, 34 is power of the great, one of the most focused and coherent sources of power of energy. The early degrees of Sagittarius 34, very very on target and committed. It's a powerful fire. So that is the background, and where you're heading is into hexagram 20. 20 is contemplation. Exactly, that's the word the Chinese use for that energy. Contemplation is just looking, just receiving, meditating. So it is that connection between great power and great insight. That is, again, going back to see, that is that main connection you have here between 34, that is here. Yeah, there's so much going on. The 34 is what connects here to this line, gate 34 and gate 20, and they meet. And it's one of the few oppositions in the zodiac which might make that direct connection. There's only a couple others, and these are very special degrees in general. That's not where we want to go. Here, that's the one. Okay. So I could talk a lot more just about this chart alone, as I say, with AW197, which is the stealth energy of they also call it, one astrologer who was doing research on that, the stratagem, right? That's what the word is. It is the ability to use the enemy's move and turn them into his defeat. It's Aikido is a perfect example of that. Just receiving the enemy's energy and turning it into a way that he ends up on his back defeated. has been a very powerful force helping us, that little body, one of the few who hasn't been given a name yet, even though it has been discovered 20 years or so ago. Usually bigger bodies, and AW 197 is really not small. It's roughly in the 900 kilometer range of diameter. So it is in itself interesting that it hasn't been named, which kind of, as it says, it's going under the radar. It's kind of doing its work in the shadows, pulling the strings. All that's been going on in big ways to kind of keep things concealed. I guess there's no question to that. So that will go on, and it is now joined by Pherois here, both sharing that degree, and will having a conjunction actually later, and they will have several conjunctions over the next couple of years. Pherois is the mother bear protecting her cubs. That is a powerful energy of protection and of stepping in to help others who are in a difficult position. Pherois with AW197 is in itself is a powerful team, and again squaring the nodes, the direction of the dynamics of evolution. So there's a direct influx of that energy too. The 90-degree angle is the most dynamic of all. I mean, the opposition is dynamic too. The opposition, but is more kind of a complementation. The two sides are helping each other to come in balance, to see each other and mirror each other, and point out whatever is kind of not in balance within this duality, where as the square aspect is a challenge, something thrown in your way. Here, deal with this, and now see if you get strong. So that's where we are here with this chart. It goes directly up into Gemini, into the open. Sedna is here, the black moon, and Ceres, this big stellium which has been going on for months now, which is all about disclosure and pushing information out into the open, allowing more people to see what's truly happening. Ceres, the earth goddess. Demetra George says it's the nurturing motherly love which expresses through Ceres. And if you know the myth, Ceres is the same character as Demetra in the Greek tradition, and Demetra's daughter was abducted by Pluto, by Hades. So when that happened, Ceres withdraw her energies, and winter was breaking. That's kind of the deeper meaning of that the withdrawal of energy from the mothering source, when in deep grief and suffering. So it is that polarity of being able to nurture and being totally in a deep crisis and of grief, and we see this conflict certainly here, and this will get more strong as the black moon fully connects with Ceres over the next couple months. So that's why I said one of the reasons the next few months will be very difficult. Yes, it is just the way it is. But what is not killing us, making us stronger, as they say. And there's lots of beautiful energies helping us. there's another one which I want to talk about in my next little video. I will try to keep them a bit shorter, which is Aspulus. Aspulus is at the galactic center right now. Let me just find the picture here. I show you with the dates. That's what it is. So Aspulus will have 5 conjunctions with the galactic center. And Aspulus is another very special guy. I like to call him Sherlock Holmes. Between August 2021 and spring 2023, this is the core phase. Aspulus, here it is, opposing the galactic center. Yes, opposing, I was wrong here, but it is that same energy axis again, the 27th degree. And Aspulus actually stands in square here with the Sun and Earth. And this is now the geocentric chart. It is also standing in square if you look at it here in the heliocentric chart. So they're pretty close together because they're far away. When something is far away, the kind of the angle from where you look at it from the Sun or Earth is not that different. So Aspulus, yes, is a very special guy, and I will talk about him in my next little video. Aspulus is Sherlock Holmes trying to get to the core of the mystery. A nice way the cosmic synchronicity and symmetry is coming into place at the right moment, at the right time. So again, with Jupiter in Pisces, this will help us to integrate as one humanity and take care of each other. That's what it really means. We are no more falling for the diversion tactics, all the left, right, Democrats, Republican, all that is past. We don't really have to go there anymore. And I mean, yeah, all the diversions, you name it. It is now about helping each other to understand what's going on this planet, or to understand, if some people like to say. Yes, never use the word understand if in a legal context, that it gets dangerous. Then you're standing under someone and giving your power away. So otherwise, I still like to use that word, but certainly not in a legal way. Be aware. Anyway, that's kind of the story. Now, let me just roll back a little bit. I have a few charts lined up here for you, which I wanted to point out as critically important to the bigger framework. Again, we cannot just go by one single chart. It is always a sequence of charts, a sequence of celestial events which will generate the energy which it then manifests in certain ways or not. So this was the 11th of 35 oppositions Salasya and Makemake are making between 2017 and 2034. This is a long process we are on in regarding these two minor planets. And again, Makemake is here in Libra and Salasya here in Aries. So they started their opposition when Salasya and Makemake both just had entered these two cardinal signs, entering a whole new phase. That was in 2017, and since we have moved on here into the 6th, 7th degree, and their opposition will keep moving in sync into 2024 and around the 21st degree of Aries. So it is really an amazing synchronicity of energies of creation by choice. Makemake is about physical manifestation, making things real, giving them form. It's a great creative force, but it's not just a plan. It makes things visible, tangible. And Salasya is here in Aries, very, very powerfully placed. Salasya is the tantric energy of enjoyment. That's what I came up with in a single one sentence. Salasya is what makes us thrive, what gives us happiness. And if you are truly understanding Salasya's energy, then you can enjoy anything, even suffering, even pain, even the darkest of emotions. If you're truly in that tantric space of understanding that it's you're expanding your range, you're allowing for a different color. So this is a powerful creation axis, and as you see, Mercury was here joining Maki. That was in September the 4th, exactly that same day when that whole window opened I just talked about. Again, we could speak much more about this chart. Just want to point out one more thing here, which will be relevant in one of my upcoming videos. Again, I really have to keep them shorter so you don't get overwhelmed. 2047 here in the center of the skies over Greenwich, the global chart, the fractal chart for the whole Earth, is the beginning of a new hexagram. Why is this important? Because it's 2045 is the edge of hexagram 54, which again I want to keep this for later, but 61 is what is activated here. 61 is the illumination, the understanding. It is inner truth. Inner truth. It is finding what is the essence of whatever experience we're in. So we are now very close to finding that essence. We're in the process. We're not quite yet there. Again, the breakthrough point will be in late January, when all doors will fly open. Late January, early February, mid-February, in these few weeks. That will be the most critical and the most dynamic time. So whatever we are experiencing now is still kind of a foreplay to that moment, a preparation, a build-up of momentum, of intensity. Anyway, that's just a little preview here too. Then, okay, I have a few more charts here really lined up. We had then Mars entering Libra. That was just a few days ago. Mars will be in Libra till November the 9th. Mars in Libra traditionally is thought to be a time of negotiations and of working behind the scenes, rearranging and re-agreeing. It's a lot about compromise is a bad word. And it is really not what we want. We want to negotiate. We want to find ways so both parties will see an advantage. That it is a strategy to win the war without even having to cross a blade. So this might work for a while, but think November 9, and that is just very close to when it will get into the next higher gear. However, if you look here at this combination of energies, when Mars entered Libra, there was a conjunction of Sun with Hygeia, which is health, wellness, very concerned with our physical well-being. So again, no surprise that Hygeia is so strongly highlighted and then opposed by Neptune, as it would. This is really sweet. I mean, yes, a little humor we should throw in here. I mean, yes, Neptune opposing the Sun here. This is, I mean, Neptune, I have said that many times, is really, if you go to the deepest layers of where we're at in this reality, that is probably the most powerful player right now in its own sign. It's all about deception and multiple realities. No one anymore knows what's true and what's not, which should and will trigger discernment. Absolutely, that's the real direction we're going. That is the silver lining of all that confusion, that we are, each one of us, needing to find our own answers regarding health and well-being. That is maybe one way to say it, with Mercury here, yes, in this powerful window, again, of clarity, of understanding. So it is really that process we're in right now, where people are waking up, period. It's happening. Big ways, big time. And naturally, with all the agendas which are uncovered, with all the personal tragic stories are developing of people personally knowing someone or through friends who has passed away through that injection and or had serious side effects. So it's all coming slowly to a boil. People are realizing their plight. They have been abused. They have been enslaved. They have been tricked. They have been, you name it. Sorry. Okay, then Pluto at the descendant. I mean, this chart in itself is it's so matching with what I said in a different way. As I say, it's that different charts, different moments of power, bringing in different aspects of reality. Sun Mars here at the root. This is in itself is even though Mars is in Libra and basically a warrior of peace, wanting to find a common ground and not. This is a strongly activated male energy. Mars has come to life. You can go back, I said it in August, with the August new moon on Lionsgate. That was really the activation of the divine masculine force on this planet, which means women and men both. We both have that masculinity of just drawing a line till here and not any further. This is how far we are ready to go. If you cross the line, you're out. That's where we are and where we are getting even more so. So that's the next chart. I quickly want to highlight another of the multi-year contacts we have, Nessus Orcus. I spoke of that many times in my last year's videos, and you're happy to go back all these videos I did. They're really beginning points. I guess it's really something to be emphasized. It's never just about that day, that moment, that week when I do the videos. They're all covering way bigger periods of time. These are just outstanding moments. It's the little peaks which stand out of the clouds. So Nessus and Orcus, as I say, they have probably over 2018 to 2026, something like, yes, actually you say it here, 17 oppositions, and this is number 10, which occurred just yesterday. Reset that whole momentum of that slow evolution of these two energies. Nessus again is the pathological frequencies we are transmuting. Orcus is all about transmutation, about healing, and really not it's much deeper than healing. Really, it is a real transformation. It's undoing and then transmuting and then generating, as Oracle Girl would say. So what stands out in this chart, and I only really want to give it another minute or two because I have a few more charts. I don't want to get it too long. This is Varuna. Varuna, which is there up at highest place in this chart globally. Varuna is a pre-Vedic creator god, protects rights and life in general. It's the gold standard, the North Star in that sense of how to do things, how to do it the right way. So very righteous, strong principles, unfavoring, and do not honor and punish those who lie and do not honor contracts. Here we go again. Very much living and expressing that truth. Saturn opposition, that Saturn opposition was exact last year, 3 times. It's still within close orb, as you see. Saturn is the force which nails something down, which brings something into manifestation and locks it down, locks it in. It's a new standard which has been defined. And the Saturn also is the one who puts the brake on. It says till here and not any further, setting boundaries. Well, I could, again, as I said, I could go off here on a tangent. I just wanted to mention this in context of what's today happening, of Jupiter entering heliocentric Pisces. So this synchronicity of two big events at the same moment, and then naturally full moon just a little bit later. This all... what's the word here? It is really a synergy. I guess that's the best word to say. Multiple cosmic events within short sequence are empowering each other. They make each other bigger and stronger. So this, now the central piece, as I say, definitely is the full moon. And then, and if we just, okay, let's just look at the next one. Then just a couple minutes after the full moon, Mars enters new territory, which is hexagram 18, and I wanted to mention this as it's an important first step. It is working on what has been spoiled. So this is about cleaning up difficulties, and this was also the hexagram. Maki is in here, 7 degrees. So over the next weeks or two, Mars will be connecting also with Maki. There will be some things which come out into the open, which have to be publicly revealed and dealt with in a way. Also Pluto here very strongly placed, so it's amping up, as one would say. And then naturally on the 22nd, that's tomorrow, the Sun will be in Libra. This is the last chart here in this sequence. Those of you who are getting impatient, just quickly here, I thought this chart in itself again was powerful, as it links into that other one which I showed you here at the beginning. You see, that's the Salasya Maki opposition. Again, that will be the main theme in this next 3 months. it is the enjoyment of creation. In short, just be aware of that through all the difficulties. Focus on what's coming and not so much of what's behind us. Keep reminding people of the biblical story of Abraham having to flee from Sodom and Gomorrah, and they were told not to look back, just go. Yes, you leave all the treasures behind, your house, your beautiful garden, whatnot. Just keep going. There will be better days coming. And the one who didn't listen, who turned around, she turned into a pillar of salt. Okay, I want to leave it at that. So thanks again for listening. Hopefully you got something out of this. And if you liked it, please share it and give it a like and subscribe. Okay, thank you.